Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guys That Magic. Spoiler season's back. It's me, Steven. I will be your beautiful announcer again. I'm joined by Shane and David. Say what's up, guys.
Yo, what's going on?
What's up, nerds?
We are back, like I said. Today's April 4th. Not a lot of spoilers today for the rares, although they did spoil every card in the commander decks, and I'm kind of excited. I saw a lot of plane chase. David, how do you feel about that?
I'm probably gonna have to talk about that at a later date. I'm not the biggest fan of how they've incorporated plane chase. Just kind of to be upfront.
Me
I love it.
neither.
I love it. I'm probably the only one of the guys that Magic that likes to. I'm gonna make my own channel called Guy That Plane Chases.
It's gonna be you running around the table playing Magic with 4 different decks on your own.
All right, Steven, what are you gonna do now? Well, Steven, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move on to the first card. It is Progenitor Exarch. It is XX and a white. This is a creature Phyrexian Cat Cleric. It's a 1/2. It also has, when it enters the battlefield, incubate 3 X times. It also has tap, transform target incubator token you control. Kind of fun.
I like one drops that can be utilized turn one and then very utilized later in the game. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think this actually scales appropriately throughout the entire course of the game. If you have a ton of mana, obviously you get a ton of the incubator tokens. But even on its own, like its last ability there where you can just tap it and transform, like that's really powerful. I think if you're going to be building an incubator deck, this needs to be in it.
Hell yeah, dude. It's basically
It looks
tap,
so regal.
give you 2 mana, basically, right? Could you save 2 mana there? Real good. Did you say
No, it's a
regal?
fantastic. Yeah, you look at how he's standing there,
Arm out, just like hello.
or she, or she.
They. You could
Yeah.
say they.
Look at how they're standing there.
Yep. This is a good
But
card.
I do love the fact that this drops down for 1. You don't have to incubate to 1/2, which is pretty good. A little block if you know, a little 1/1 attacking in,
A little cheeky.
and you
Yeah.
get the tap. You get to tap it. Makes some fun.
This could be a 4 of them, whatever archetype that's going to be. The incubate deck is a 4 of.
Yes, Shane. Yes, it will.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to some straight to commander cards. These cards can only be found in set and collector booster packs. Got to spend some money. So we're going to go ahead and talk about these 5. We have Elspeth's, Teferi's, Liliana's, Rowan's, and Vivian's Talent. These are all enchantment auras. They all enchant planeswalkers, and they have some pretty cool abilities. We just kind of wanted to talk about these as a cycle. Pretty much, I don't know if we're all too thrilled about them. I do think that some of them are really good, but some of them are really bad. I'll go ahead and let the boys talk a little bit, and we'll kind of get into it from there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Elspeth talent, man. The fact that you can take Elspeth and give her best ability to any planeswalker and then pump up your team. I think that's really cool. Granted, you do need to have a planeswalker already out, but I mean, if you can curve into this, or even I guess play a planeswalker turn 4, play this, I guess turn 5, but either way, it's not on curve exactly. I'm mumbling, but either way, these cards, I think, if you're already playing the planeswalker idea in your deck, these could be great includes for your deck.
No, 100%, man. I mean, I'll completely agree with you. I think that these cards are only slotted into a Super Friends deck, which makes them very linear in my mind. I mean, they do have some pretty cool abilities, but I just like my thing is essentially you have to play the planeswalker, at least in my mind, you have to play the planeswalker and then play these and then use that activated ability.
Yeah.
So you have now wasted, on some of these cards up to 5 mana and then whatever your planeswalker cost. So at what point do these start giving you upside? And you have to hope that nobody hits them. You know what I mean?
So these kind of remind me of there was a series of like whenever they were going back and readjusting their starter decks, the like cheap intro to standard starter decks. These kind of remind me of cards that I would have expected to see in something like those, where it would have been like, for example, Rowan's Talent. And then somewhere printed on this card, it actually says like search your library for a Rowan Planeswalker and put it into your hand or something. I don't know. I guess it actually technically wouldn't work backwards like that since you have to enchant a Planeswalker. But if it were possible in any way for you to fetch these, I think that this would be cool. I also think that these would be really neat if they worked similarly to like the Icar Moon card that we just got, where instead of these being an aura, they were just an enchantment. And maybe it was like only one planeswalker per turn is allowed to take advantage of the ability, but it adds like an additional mode. an additional like loyalty ability onto it, I think it would have been cool. My problem with these cards, like what Steven mentioned, is they're very expensive. They have to occupy a spot in the deck, which means they had to be better than another card. And then these have the same problems as most other auras, but I think they're actually even worse. So like if you try to enchant or if you try to enchant your planeswalker, your opponents have the opportunity to remove the planeswalker, and then you spent all that mana for nothing. My other thought here being is planeswalkers are a card type that can be directly attacked. So these are now susceptible to combat damage in addition to other removal. So I just think that the floor on these cards is really low. Worst case scenario, you dumped mana and a card to do literally nothing.
Yeah, you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate, man, because I really do like this cycle as a thought. I just think that it is so mana intensive that it's like I say in a lot of the pre-con upgrades that I do. This is just something that I would rather do. I would rather spend my mana a little bit better, and I don't think that this would make taking a whole slot in my deck, like David said, for maybe 1 or 2 cards.
Yeah.
And like I'm not trying to be overly negative here. I do like the idea of these cards. I'm really happy that they got printed. I think they're really neat and unique, and I would be more than happy to see more. I don't think that any of these really push it to a level like that I would want to have these cards.
Well, that wraps up the Talent Planeswalker series. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. We have Firemane Commando. It is 3 colorless and a white for a creature angel soldier. This one's a 4/3 with flying. It also says whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. It also says whenever another player attacks with 2 or more creatures, they draw a card if none of those creatures attacked you. I love politics.
Yeah, this is actually pretty cool, man. It's like, hey, I'll help you as long as you're not attacking me. I like
Yep,
that a
but
lot.
here's the thing about this card. It helps people, which means
Yeah.
David doesn't like it.
Hunter doesn't like it either, honestly. And I get it. You don't want to help your opponents. Because at the end of the day, they're your opponents. But if it saved your life, dude, I'm just saying.
I really like this card. I like this effect. You're helping your opponents to an extent, but I mean you're also like really trying to encourage them to attack each other, which I think is really neat. This kind of almost reminds me of like Edric, the little green and blue elf creature that like really wants your opponents to attack each other. So I think this is pretty neat, and it's a way for white to get card draw,
which is very important.
Why would you need card draw when you can just play Smothering Tithe and just have a bunch of treasures?
You know, this could actually go very well into my Kali deck because in that deck, I end up dumping my hand, and then I have no cards in my hand. This would be a great angel to throw in there.
All right, well, we're going to move on to Infernal Sovereign. This is a 4 colorless, 2 black creature demon. It's a 6/6 flying trample. Skip your draw step. Not that fun. But whenever you play a land or cast a spell, you get to draw a card. But you also get to lose 1 life.
This seems like something you'd want to reanimate under your opponent's control, David.
Oh my god, no. The power level of this card is insane.
Yeah, but you're making
me
me skip my draw step. I hate that.
Oh, dude, I don't care about that at all. Read the last text. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So if I cast 5 spells, I'm losing 5 life, drawing 5 cards.
Oh, you know what? That is actually really good.
This card is insane. This is a card that like you need to kill it on site, otherwise your opponent is just about to combo off and go nuts. This is basically like a retrofitted Necropotence on a creature, and this creature happens to be a 6/6 with flying and trample too, so it's going to beat you to death in case you leave it alone.
It just happens. You know what? This is another great one for my Kali deck. Holy shit.
Kaya, getting some added beef here. My only gripe with Infernal Sovereign is that I do think that this card is going to be pretty powerful, and with it being restricted as a card that you can only get from the set or collector boosters, it kind of creates like a false rarity. This thing is a mythic, but it's not a mythic that you can find everywhere. So how expensive is this card going to be?
I mean,
right, I'm going to go ahead and guess $6.66.
I like the guess.
But they'll be found in set boosters, and those are pretty common, dude.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but this is still like, I don't know. I don't like the fact that it's not actually found in a draft booster or any other like the normal products.
Well, that's the only other normal product. It's either draft or set, right?
I mean, you can't open this up in a pre-con, or like you can't open this up, I guess, in the pre-con, but you can't open this up at like your pre-release.
That's true. There is only one thing that I know though for sure. And that is we're going to move on to the last card that can be found in this series. It's going to be Begin the Invasion. It is X, white, blue, black, red, and green. It is all 5 colors, and I'm so excited. This is for a sorcery. It says search your library for up to X battle cards with different names, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. David, you can tell me how bad this is all day. I don't care.
It's pretty expensive, bud.
I don't care.
I know you don't.
There's literally a
It's
card that you can pay for 5, tap it, it adds Wooburg.
David hates that card.
It's a great card.
this is such a Steven card, and I understand why you love it. It's an oddity. It's 5 colors. It is incredibly mana expensive. It's got everything that you want,
But
But
but it's so expensive. If you're going to be playing with a battles deck, 100% you jam this thing, and I guess now you're playing 5 colors too. So I don't know, pick a commander that works with that. It's cool if you can get the payoff. It's just really expensive.
I don't think I mind the expensive part of it. I think if you're playing 5 colors, you know your deck's going to be kind of aggressive. So you've already made fixes for that. The only thing I will say is what I don't like about this card is that you do have to grab just battles. I just, granted, they all come on the field, but like, I just think that this is nuts, man. Like, even if you pay, 5 into the Wooburg cost and you pay, I don't know, dude, like 5 extra, so 10 mana. Yes, it's a lot, but you're getting some value off of these ETBs because you're grabbing any invasion. It's not with mana cost, blah, 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 or it has to be less than this. It's just grab them. Go get them, boy.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would be dumping enough mana into this where you're grabbing a lot of them or all of them.
Oh, God, I just can't stop thinking about this card. All right, so that was the last of the cards that can be found in set and boosters. This next group of cards we're going to be talking about are going to be our pre-con alternative cards. Kind of excited for you guys, not for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Rashmi and Ragavan. This is 1 colorless, a green, a blue, and a red for a legendary creature Elf Monkey. It's a 2/4. It also says whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, exile the top card of a target opponent's library. Create a treasure token. Then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's a spell with mana value less than the number of artifacts you control. If you don't cast it this way, you may cast it this turn. David, I do believe you were taking over this pre-con. Can you tell me why you're not going to use this as your commander?
I'm 100% actually going to use this as a commander.
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
delve
would.
too
Yeah,
much into it, but I do think that this is actually much better than the face commander of the deck.
I would agree.
yeah, this is nuts, dude. I love it. I also just love little Ragavan sitting on her. A little runner.
Yeah, I think they're going a little overboard with the Ragavan. I mean, this is what his 3rd printing in this set. Well, I guess in different iterations on different cards, but he's all over the place here.
He's popular.
Shane, thoughts, comments, questions,
I mean,
concerns?
I don't, like I said, this is probably going to be the one that is stronger out of the 2 for David. This is a
Oh,
very good card.
This is nuts, man. I think just having this as just your commander in general.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't even have to be in the like a pre-con swap. This is a really good card.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that they tried to take something a little bit different in terms of their approach with this. This is a teamwork card that they wanted to care about artifacts, and I feel like they're doing a pretty good job here. I feel like, if anything, I'm not going to mention that next thing, actually, because I don't want it to be a spoiler.
Ooh, can you tell me real quick to give me an advantage?
No.
Damn it. Okay, well, now that I'm sad, I want to move to the next one. We have Saint Traft and Rem Karolus. It is a blue, a red, and a white for a legendary creature, Spirit Human. It's a 3/4. It also says whenever it becomes tapped, create a 1/1 red human creature token. If this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. If it's the second time, create a 1/1 blue spirit creature token with flying. And if it's the third, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. It also says whenever you cast a spell that has Convoke, untap Saint Traft and Rem Karolus. Shane,
Yeah?
looking at you, buddy. I can't wait
Okay.
for you to build this deck.
I think this is definitely a stronger one. I think I'm going to pick this
Yeah?
one as my face commander. You're going to see me tap, untap, tap, untap. I'm going to make a
that's
bunch
exactly
of
what this
tokens.
has to do.
Yeah.
That is the plan of this deck.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am serious.
It's like you're paying, getting some tokens, and you get to untap them. That's cool.
Unfortunately, Hunter is not with us today, so I'll go over his cards that could be possible commanders in his deck. We have Moira and Teshar, 3 colorless, a white and a black for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Spirit Bird. That is a hell of a creature type. It's a 4/5 with flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else.
Seems like good recursion.
Yeah, I mean, I love cards like this where it says at the beginning of the next end step, just because Sundial the Infinite is a thing.
Dumb.
Which, funny enough, that's a historic spell.
Dumb.
I love this card because it takes 2 legendary creatures that we've seen before and it Phyrexianizes them, which we haven't really, I feel like, gotten a ton of that in this set.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of cool. I mean, like, it gives them an alternative spin on 2 creatures that we're already familiar with. So I think it's pretty neat to see that, not everybody made it out of the conflict incomplete.
Unscathed. I'm curious to see where he goes with this deck.
It's a lot of recursion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Moving on to the second deck that Hunter will be doing. That's right, Hunter is doing 2 decks. It's unfortunate, but fun at the same time. It is Shalai and Hallar. 1 colorless, a red, a green, and a white for a legendary creature, Angel Elf. It's a 3/3. It's got flying and vigilance. It also says whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Hallar deals that much damage to target opponent. That's kind of stupid. I
Hunter
don't
loves
like that.
counters, dude. That's cool.
That's terrifying.
You think so?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I just feel like there's so many ways to put +1/+1 counters on the things and to go infinite with it, which is the only way I like to think about decks. So sorry, but this is nuts. I love it.
An infinite
I'm a big
amount
fan
would
of
be,
this card.
yeah, that'd be like death, right?
Yeah, that'd be death for all.
Well, target opponent.
True.
Yeah, but
Then you move on to the
Death
next
for
target
trigger on the
opponent.
stack, kill that guy, and then move on. We'll move on to my possible commander. It is Elenda and Azor. This is 3 colorless, a white, a blue, and a black for a legendary creature, Vampire Night Sphinx. That is another interesting creature type. It's a 6/6, flying, and has Ward 2. It also says whenever Elenda and Azor attacks, you may pay X, white, blue, black. If you do, draw X cards. At the beginning of each end step, you may pay 4 life. If you do, create a number of 1/1 black Vampire Knight creature tokens with lifelink equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed out.
You like your other one?
Yeah, who doesn't like Eminence?
Eminence? Eminence?
I don't.
M&Ms?
I mean, this is a lot of card draw, dude.
It is a ton of card draw, and you get to make a lot of tokens.
Little tokes, dude. Yeah.
And they got lifelink, which is really fun. I love how they added Elenda's flavor into this.
Well, they better have
I mean,
life.
they got-
You're paying 4 life.
They got Azor's in there as well with the drawing cards ability.
Yeah, I like vampires. Sphinxes are cool, but let's be honest, vampires are where it's at. I mean, this is fun. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, is the other one a little bit more fun for me? I'll have to figure out. I mean, I also am not a big fan of paying 6 mana for a commander. I'm also not a fan of I'm
Hmm.
also not a fan of, paying 4 mana for a commander, if I'm dead honest with you. I like the 3 mana cost ones that are 3 colors. But anytime you throw Eminence into the mix, I'm right there. So that'll wrap it up for the Precon alternates. A lot of fun ones in there. Really excited to see the way everyone goes, although we all know where David's going. Now let's move on to one of the cards today that was spoiled that is in the Aftermath Buy a Box promo. Here we have Jolrael, Voice of Zhalfir. It is 2 colorless, a green and a blue for a legendary creature, human druid. She's a 3/3. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target land you control becomes a XX green and blue bird creature with flying and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It's still a land, and it also says whenever a land creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card.
This looks like a
This
lot of fun, dude.
is stupid, dude. I
This
hate
is-
Simic.
I love Simic, and this
Dude,
card is
Simic's so
awesome.
stupid.
Dude, and can we just talk about, before we talk about the card itself, this art is amazing.
It's gorgeous, dude.
Like this is awesome.
It really so the text on the top with the border that's around the yellow really flows into the circle. I mean, it is this is truly beautiful.
Also, wait, one more thing on the art. Have you ever seen that before, where like the art literally goes onto the creature type like that?
This is a promo. Yeah, this shit happens all the time.
Well, this looks gorgeous.
Oh, get shit on, dude.
I don't think it has. I think he's lying to me. What do you think, David?
I think the card itself is pretty cool. I don't know. It's Simic doing Simic things.
Yep.
I'm just gonna
Cool.
build a Simic deck at this point, dude.
You think so?
Like, yeah, I hate to say it, but like my two favorite colors in Magic the Gathering are black and blue, Dimir. But I always say they're the best colors, but I think secretly I know it's blue and green.
Yeah, I love
It's
Simic.
probably not a secret, dude. Simic is actually just like probably the best color. I would argue that it is the best color combination.
I guess we have another issue here, boys. It's a really good card, really good.
Hey, but that's fine.
Really, not a whole lot
I
of a
think,
discussion whenever everybody's on board and says it's good.
I'm gonna make this
Yeah.
deck. I'm gonna say it now.
All right, Shane. You do this with every Simic deck.
Yeah. Well,
He does this with like 6 cards per set, and then he tells me, "David, build it for me."
yeah.
Actually, that you said that in the last video.
Oh shit, I did. You're right. David, build this for me.
All right, guys. I guess look out for a future deck tech on Jolrael. All right, gentlemen. Well, my favorite part of the video is now coming. What was your favorite card spoiled today?
I'm gonna let David go first.
David, I'm going to let you go first because
Yeah.
last video you said you don't like being picked last.
I did.
Yeah, remember because you picked what I picked and then I changed.
Oh. For this video, no contest. It's Infernal Sovereign. It's a demon. It's a black card. It does tons of draw. It's got everything that I want.
Shane?
I think I'm gonna go with the Commando, the White Angel. Let you draw cards. Seems real good.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're not going to go Jolrael?
Nah. That's a cheater one. 'Cause that's not really even. That's in like the next set.
All right, guys. Can you take a guess at what I'm going to pick?
Definitely not that 5-color card.
You're actually right, David. It's not the 5-color card. My favorite card spoiled today was Rashmi and Ragavan.
Nice.
Go for the win.
I don't know. I don't know if it's cheating because technically it's a precon alternate. If that
Nah.
is cheating, I'm going to go ahead and pick the 5-color. But to be honest with you, I love Rashmi and Ragavan. I think this is an insane card, and I
Good.
can't wait for David to build it for me.
I actually will be doing that one.
I know. Spoiler alert. Take it away, David.
All right. Well, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on our other social media platforms as well. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter at Guys at Magic. And as always, we love all the feedback that you do provide for us. Make sure you comment down below. What was your favorite card that we talked about today? What opinions did we share that we are totally wrong about? Make sure that you correct us with the comments down below as well. And until next time, this has been Guys at Magic. Peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.